Chhatrapati Shivaji International Airport, formerly Sahar International Airport, is the primary international airport in Mumbai, India, and is named after the 17th-century Maratha emperor, Chhatrapati Shivaji. The airport's IATA airport code BOM ICAO is derived from Bombay, Mumbai's former name. Chhatrapati Shivaji International Airport is second busiest airport in India, and was ranked 48th busiest airport in world by Airports Council International in 2013. The airport has 5 operating terminals spread over an operational area of 1,160 hectares. In 2011, the airport was ranked the third best in the world in the 40 million passengers category by Airports Council International. It is situated in the suburb of Santa Cruz and the Sahar neighbourhood of Andheri suburb in the pincode area of 400,099. Mumbai International Airport Limited, a consortium of GVK Industries Ltd, Airports Company South Africa and Bidvest, was appointed to carry out the modernisation of Mumbai Airport in February 2006. This project was to be completed by end of 2013, but this has been delayed by another year to the end of 2014. The new integrated Terminal T2 was inaugurated on January 10, 2014 and opened for international operations on February 12, 2014. A dedicated 6-lane, elevated road connecting the new terminal with the main arterial Western Express Highway was also opened to the public the same day. History. The Jung Aerodrome functioned as Mumbai's sole airport until 1942. Due to operational constraints imposed by its low-level location and proximity to the Arabian Sea coastline making it vulnerable during the monsoon season, a move further inland became necessary. RAF Santa Cruz was set up in 1942. It was a bigger airfield than JU and was home to several RAF squadrons during World War II from 1942 to 1947. The airport covered an area of about 1,160 hectares and initially had 3 runways. The apron existed on the south side of runway 09/27, and the area, referred to today as the Old Airport, houses, among others, maintenance hangars of Air India, Airworks India and MIAL's General Aviation Terminal. By 1946, when the RAF began the process of handing over the airfield to the Director General of Civil Aviation for civil operations, 2 old abandoned hangars of the Royal Air Force had been converted into a terminal for passenger traffic. One hangar was used as a domestic terminal and the other for international traffic. It had counters for customs and immigration checks on either side and a lounge in the centre. Air India handled its passengers in its own terminal adjoining the 2 hangars. In its first year, it handled 6 civilian services a day. Traffic at the airport increased after Karachi was partitioned to Pakistan and as many as 40 daily internal and foreign services operated by 1949, prompting the Indian government to develop the airport, equipping the airport with a night landing system comprising a radio range and a modernised flare path lighting system. Construction of a new passenger terminal and apron began in 1950 and was commissioned in 1958. Named after the neighbourhood in which it stood and initially under the aegis of the Public Works Department, the new airport was subsequently run by the Ministry of Civil Aviation. After a major fire gutted the Santa Cruz terminal in 1979, a temporary departure extension or Gulf terminal became functional in October that year. With the dawning of the jumbo jet era in the 1970s, Santa Cruz, despite several extensions, began suffering from insufficient operational capacity. The Tata Committee, set up in 1967 to examine the issues concerning the airport, had recommended the construction of a new international terminal to meet the requirements of traffic in the 70s. The Santa Cruz terminal was to be used for domestic traffic alone. The International Airport Authority of India, which was set up in 1972, started planning the construction of a new terminal building for handling international passenger traffic, to be completed by 1981. Accordingly, construction of the new international terminal at Sahar to the northeast of Santa Cruz was taken up at an estimated cost of Rs 110 million. Designed by all copyright reports to Paris and opened in January 1981, Terminal 2 was built in 3 modular phases as 2A, 2B, and 2C. Each module had a capacity of 2.5 million passengers. This terminal had an area of 120,000 am2. The original terminal was a convex-shaped single concourse building with 14 Code E contact stands. The greater T2 apron also provided a further 15 Code DE and 6 Code C remote stands. This gave a total of 35 stands on the existing apron. This first phase of the terminal complex was completed at a cost of $180 million and served most international carriers. Its boarding gates 3 to 8 were the first aero bridges installed in the subcontinent. It was decommissioned and demolished in January 2009 to make way for the new T2 structure. 2B, costing $220 million, was completed in 1984. It served Air India and carriers handled by Air India between September 1986 and October 1999 and was decommissioned when 2C opened. It was extensively refurbished and made operational once again following the demolition of 2A. 2C, inaugurated in October 1999, was originally exclusively for Air India Express and those carriers whose ground operations were handled by Air India. 2B and 2C were decommissioned in February 2014 when the new T2 took over operations. IATA had been considering the modernization of Mumbai Airport in 1996, although the IATA board approved a modernization proposal only in 2003. By then, Mumbai and Delhi airports were handling 38% of the country's aircraft movement and generating one-third of all revenues earned by IATA. At that time, Mumbai Airport handled 13.3 million passengers, 60% of which were domestic travelers. The airport faced severe congestion for both aircraft and passengers as it was handling twice as many aircraft movements per day than it was originally designed for. The bidding process for its modernization eventually began in May 2004 with a decision by the empowered group of ministers was announced in January 2006. The GVK-led consortium won the bid to manage and operate CSIA. To accomplish this task, Mumbai International Airport Private Limited, a joint venture between the consortium and the Airports Authority of India, was formed. Since then, MIAL has made several improvements in the aesthetics, design and passenger conveniences at CSIA. Structure. The airport consists of 2 passenger terminals, Terminal 1 at Santa Cruz for domestic flights and Terminal 2 at Sahar for international flights. These terminals use the same airside facilities but are physically separated on the city side, requiring a 20-minute drive between them. MIAL operates coach shuttle services between the domestic and international terminals for transit passengers. Over the past few years, the older Terminal 2 was demolished and a newer terminal has been partially completed and open to traffic. Work is in progress on the other part of this new terminal and it is due to be completed in 2015, which is when it will be used for both international and domestic airlines. Runways. Mumbai has 2 intersecting runways. Both runways have been upgraded to Code F, which means they can accommodate larger aircraft like the Airbus A380. Following a presentation in March 2011 by ICAO unregistered trademark Air Traffic Service Provider NATS on how the capacity of the airport can be increased, MIAL set a target of 48 aircraft movements an hour in an effort to reduce congestion at the airport. Both runways were operated simultaneously, especially during peak hours, to try and attain this target. MIAL scrapped simultaneous cross-runway flight operations in mid-2013 after it found that single runway operations were more effective for increasing aircraft movements per hour. Runway 14/32 is now used only when the main runway is unavailable due to maintenance or other reasons. The construction of new rapid exit taxiways helped in increasing flight handling capacity from 32 movements per hour to 44 in 2012. The existing 72 am tall ATC tower, erected in 1996, stands close to the secondary runway and is a notified obstruction in the aircraft path. Hence, some carriers such as Singapore Airlines, Saudi Airlines and Continental Airlines avoid using the secondary runway and cancel or reschedule their flights into Mumbai when the main runway is unusable. Further issues with utilizing 14/32 are there is a higher probability of missed approaches and diversions in inclement weather because of the runway's higher approach minima at both ends. Bombay Hill lies 4.5 mi away from the 32 end, an approach also questioned recently by security agencies because the BABB Atomic Research Center nuclear complex at Bombay lies within its flight path. Parallel runway, MIAL was considering constructing a second parallel runway as part of its master plan. However, the construction of this runway would necessitate a large-scale relocation of either Air India's hangars and maintenance facilities or the airport's flight kitchens and the Sahar police station, among others, depending on its alignment. The parallel runway remains an active part of the expansion plan, but in the meantime the cross runways are being upgraded as much as possible. Terminals, airlines and destinations. The airport consists of 4 terminals. Terminal 1 comprises 3 adjacent structures, designated 1A, 1B and 1C. Terminal 1A opened in April 1992, and is used by Air India and GoAir. Terminal 1B was the original Santa Cruz building used for international and domestic operations. It was refurbished at various times over the decades, the most recent being during the 2000s. It is used by all of the other domestic airlines. Terminal 1C was built at a cost of $3 billion and opened in April 2010. Architectural design was provided by Hafez contractor. EDRC, the in-house design unit of the EPC contractor Larsen & Toubro, performed the structural, MEP and IT/airport systems design. The building serves as a boarding-only facility for all airlines. The terminal has 6 passenger boarding bridges and allows connectivity between terminals 1A and 1B. It is spread over 297,194 square feet across 3 levels and has a seating capacity of about 900 passengers. Level 1 houses the offices of MIAL and some airlines. Level 2 comprises the security hold area for passengers after checking in at either Terminal 1A or 1B. Level 3 accommodates a food court. New Terminal 2, Larsen & Toubro was awarded the contract to construct the new Terminal 2. Skidmore, Owings & Merrill was the architectural designer of the project. SOM also provided the schematic design of structure and MEP and the detailed structural design of the roof. Detailed design of the foundations and the rest of the structure and civil works, the MEP, IT and airport systems, including the full construction documentation of the project, was carried out by L&T's in-house design team, EDRC. The terminal covers a land area of 210,000 square meters and will replace the existing international terminal. The entire project was estimated to cost $98 billion and employ over 12,000 workers. The X-shaped terminal has a total floor area of 450,000 square meters across 4 floors and will eventually handle both domestic and international passengers. It will include new taxiways and apron areas for aircraft parking designed to cater to 40 million passengers annually. The iconic structure will have boarding gates on 2 piers extending southwards from a central processing building featuring a 42-meter-high roof employing over 20,000 metric tons of fabricated steel covering 30 acres. The new T2 terminal building operates multiple aircraft ramp system stands and swing gates, so that a single stand can accommodate either 1 wide-body aircraft or 2 narrow-body aircraft, in either domestic or international configuration. The new terminal is connected by the 6-lane Sahar elevated access road to the Western Express Highway. A metro rail link to the terminal is also planned. The new terminal has around 21,000 square meters of retail space, lounges and travel services, over 5,000 square meters of landscaping and a multi-level car park for 5,000 cars. The parking management system and revenue control system for the entire MLCP has been designed and supplied by Skidata. It has 192 check-in counters and 60 immigration counters for departing passengers, and 12 baggage carousels and 76 immigration counters for arriving passengers. To transfer passengers across its 4 levels, the building has 48 escalators and 75 elevators. The terminal also features 42 travelators. In the initial phase of development, the apron adjoining T2 will provide a total of 48 stands including 3 Code F stands. In the final phase of development, a total of 38 Code EF contact stands, 14 Code EF remote stands and 20 Code C remote stands will be provided. International operations from the building commenced on February 12, 2014, while the domestic operations will be transferred from the Santa Cruz terminal to T2 by the last quarter of 2014. The first arrival at T2 was AI343 from Singapore via Chennai. The first departure from the new terminal was Jet Airways Flight 118. The old international terminal was closed permanently at 1 p.m. on February 12, 2014. Construction is underway to build the remaining pier of T2 and is expected to open to the public in 2015. Jarahi Art Exhibit. Terminal 2 hosts the world's largest public art program to be located in an airport, with 6,000 pieces of Indian art from all over India. The majority of the art originates from the 8th to the 19th centuries, with some 100 commissioned contemporary works, including by renowned Indian artists. The exhibits are being displayed on 18-foot-high walls along the terminal's corridors and other stand-alone display areas totaling 1.2 kilometers in length and encompassing a total area of 7,430 sqm. It has also been referred to by the BBC as India's largest museum. With 40 million passengers annually, the area will surpass the number of visitors to the Louvre in Paris. General Aviation Terminal, CSIA's GA terminal for private and non-scheduled flight operators is located at Kalina on the southwest side of the airfield. The terminal was approved for international operations in April 2011, making CSIA the first airport in India to have a self-contained terminal for handling round-the-clock domestic and international flight operations for private and NSOPs. The terminal offers facilities for passengers departing and arriving on private aircraft and business jets. The terminal has 2 exclusive lounges, 2 conference halls, 2 crew restrooms and a cafe copyright bar. Cargo Facility. The Air Cargo Complex, located west of the International Passenger Terminal, has been in operation since 1977. The cargo apron is capable of handling 5 wide-bodied aircraft. In 2009, a Euro 10, the airport handled 385,937 metric tons of international cargo and 165,252 metric tons of domestic cargo. Air India and Mumbai International Airport Private Ltd have been appointed as custodians of cargo by the Central Board of Excise and Customs at Mumbai. MIAL handles 33 airlines while AI handles 11. Apart from handling 65% of the international volumes at CSIA, MIAL also operates the Common User Domestic Cargo Facility since November 2009, handling Deccan 360 and Indigo. The Common User Facility for exports is 7,500 m2 and handles 11,000 tons per month. The Common User Express Terminal for couriers is operated by the Express Industry Council of India. Small shipments are handled via the International Passenger Terminal or the Domestic Passenger Terminal, while larger express parcels are handled through the General Cargo Warehouses. The cargo terminal has a Centre for Perishable Cargo, CPC, with an area of 1844 m2 for perishable and temperature-sensitive international export shipments, strong rooms of 115 m2 for storage of valuable cargo and storage areas for dangerous goods in both import and export warehouses, dedicated unaccompanied baggage handling and clearance areas, and 9 colored X-ray cargo screening machines for export cargo. Passenger airlines. Cargo airlines, connectivity. Vilpal, a railway station on the Western Line and Harbour Line, is the closest station of the Mumbai suburban railway network to the domestic terminal. Andheri, also on the Western and Harbour Lines, is the closest railway station to the international terminal. The Mumbai Metro Line 3 will connect to the airport in the future, with 2 stations serving the airport, domestic and international. Statistics. Chhatrapati Shivaji International Airport is the second busiest airport in the Indian subcontinent, in terms of passengers carried per year, and second busiest in terms of traffic movements. The airport can officially handle 36 flights per hour and intends to increase this to 48. Currently it handles more than 760 aircraft movement per day. The Mumbai-Delhi route was recently ranked by Official Airline Guide as the 7th busiest domestic route in the world, based on the number of flights per week. This airport, along with Delhi's Indira Gandhi International Airport, is the primary international gateway to India and served by approximately 50 international airlines. It is the primary hub for Jet Airways and Go Air and also serves as a secondary hub for a few other airlines, including Air India, Indigo, Jetlight and SpiceJet. International traffic peaks late in the night, whilst peak domestic traffic is before 10:00. Nevertheless, at least 45% of traffic flows between 10:00 and 18:30 daily. In July 2010, the airport was ranked 4th best in the world for having aero bridges, food courts, spas and salons. This airport, along with airports in Delhi, Chennai, Bangalore, and Kolkata handles more than 75% of the passengers in India. In the 11 months between April 2006 and February 2007, it handled 180,000 landings and takeoffs and over 20 million passengers, with a total of 13.56 million domestic air passengers and 6.73 million international passengers. It registered a 21.28% growth in passenger traffic over the previous year 2005 a Euro 06, when the figure was 17.6 million passengers. In 2008, for the second year in a row, it was the world's most delayed airport in terms of arrivals. Only 49.95% of arrivals were on time. About 58% of its late arrivals in 2008 were delayed by 30 minutes or more, although the delay in these arrivals is largely attributed to air congestion at a flight's origin. Airport services. There are several fixed base operators at the airport and they include, caterers, Ambassadors Sky Chef, Chef Air, Aberoi Flight Services, Sky Gourmet, Taj SATS, Fuelers, Bharat Petroleum, Hindustan Petroleum, Indian Oil, Ground Handlers, Kambata Aviation, Kale Binars, NACIL, Incidents and Accidents, 1950s. On July 15, 1953, a BOAC DH-106 Comet landed at the much smaller Jung Aerodrome instead of Santa Cruz Airport. The aircraft was flown out some 9 days later. On July 19, 1959, Rani Avera, a Lockheed L-1049G Super Constellation carrying 46 people approached Santa Cruz Airport in conditions of poor visibility due to rain. The captain was using an altimeter with the barometric pressure set at 29.92 inches. An overshoot was delayed and the aircraft crashed and suffered damage beyond repair. There were no fatalities. 1960s. On May 28, 1968, the pilot of a Garuda Indonesia Convair 990 mistook the much smaller Jung Aerodrome for Santa Cruz Airport and tried to land his aircraft. It overshot the runway, falling just short of the traffic road ahead and several residential buildings when its nose wheel got stuck in a ditch at the end of the runway. All passengers survived. 1970s. On September 9, 1970, BOAC 775 was flying from the then Santa Cruz Airport to London Heathrow International Airport with stopovers in Bahrain and Beirut. It was hijacked by PFLP hijackers after taking off from Bahrain and diverted to Dawson's Field. On December 24, 1972, Japan Airlines Flight 472, operated by Douglas DC-8-53 landed at Jung Aerodrome instead of Santa Cruz Airport. The aircraft overran the end of the runway and was damaged beyond economic repair. On October 12, 1976, Indian Airlines Flight 171, a Saud Aviation SE-210 Caravel had its right engine catch fire shortly after takeoff. The crew attempted to return, but the plane crashed approximately 1,000 feet short of runway 09. All 6 crew members and their 89 passengers were killed. On January 1, 1978, Air India Flight 855, a Boeing 747-237B crashed into the Arabian Sea after takeoff from Mumbai, killing all on board. On August 4, 1979, a Hawker Siddeley HS-748 aircraft was approaching Sahar International Airport at night and in poor weather when it flew into high terrain approximately 6 mi from the airport, killing the 4 crew and their 41 passengers. 2000s, On September 4, 2009, Air India Flight 829, a Boeing 747, a Euro 437 flying on the Mumbai-Riyadh route, caught fire at the airport. The fire started in number 1 engine while the aircraft was taxiing to runway 27 for takeoff. An emergency evacuation was carried out with no injuries among the 228 people on board. On November 10, 2009, Kingfisher Airlines Flight 4124, operated by IATA 72-212 AVTKAC, skidded off the runway after landing. The aircraft suffered substantial damage but all 46 passengers and crew escaped unharmed. 2010s, on September 2, 2011, Turkish Airlines Flight 720, from Istanbul, skidded off rapid exit taxiway N8 after landing. No injuries were reported but the incident has been called serious by an official and a probe has been ordered. On March 9, 2013, Indigo Flight 433 from Chandigarh skidded off runway 27 whilst landing, however the pilot managed to bring the aircraft back onto the runway but failed to notify ground control or the ATC. An airport worker saw damaged runway lights shortly afterwards and reported it. Checks of aircraft at the airport confirmed that the Airbus A320 did skid off the runway. On March 11, 2013, Air France Flight 217 took off from Mumbai at around 4 a.m. bound for Paris. After detecting engine failure, the pilot contacted air traffic control, requesting a return and asking for emergency services to be readied. The plane landed at 4.45 am. Airport officials said a preliminary check conducted by the fire team did not show anything amiss, but a tool was found during a check by maintenance officers. Awards and honours: third best airport in the world in the 25 Euro 40 million passengers category by Airports Council International in 2011 and 2012. Fourth best airport in the world in the 15 Euro 20 million passengers category by Airports Council International, notably for aero bridges, fancy food courts, spas and salons. Best airport in India by the Airport Council International. Best airport in public-private partnership by the Air Passengers Association of India. Aeronautical Excellence Airport of the Year 2008 from Frost & Sullivan. First airport in India to implement self-service kiosks and cute check-in systems. See also: Airports in India, list of busiest airports in India by passenger traffic, references. External links: CSIA official website, Chhatrapati Shivaji International Airport page at the AAI website, GVK website, Chhatrapati Shivaji International Airport project details, accident history for BOM at Aviation Safety Network.